Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Jai Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Jai Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Satnam, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Jai Gobind, and this is your channel for grace. I'm always bundled up now on all the shows because it's so freaking cold where I'm at. But I'm excited today to be here for us to talk about the full moon in Gemini that is happening on Sunday. So what we're going to do, and what I usually do in these broadcasts, is I will show you the chart. I will show you, we'll look at my book, Seasons and Stargates, and the information that I wrote in there about the full moon. And we'll also talk about the gene key, and I'll read about the city of the gene key that this full moon is happening on. And then I do a separate broadcast to go over the human design transit reading for the full moon. And then on the day of the actual full moon or new moon, we do our Akashic reading, and also I play live music and we do a ceremony and ritual. So today's the astrology, Friday is the human design, and then Sunday is the official full moon celebration. So I hope that you can join us for that. If you are here watching live, thank you. Hello, Mary. Welcome in. Hello, Ashley. So good to see you here. If you're here, say hi in the chat. I love the live interaction. I've also been going live. I know usually I go live an hour later, but it is literally so cold here at my house that if the longer I wait to go live, like the colder it gets, and it's like really difficult for me to sit here in the cold. I know it's like, you're like, what are you talking about? Well, for those of you that don't know, we live in our house. We had to move into it way earlier than expected, and there's no insulation. It's the middle of winter. So we are just getting through this winter. It'll be the only winter that we have to experience it like this, but still it is challenging. So I got to do everything I can to just make it more comfortable for me, because I love going live and I love going over all this amazing information. I love astrology. I'm actually right now writing the next year's book, the Seasons and Stargates, your annual astrology guide for 2025 and 2026. And I have so much fun doing it. Like, it just feels so cool to be able to do something like that. So very exciting. Glad to be here. Before we dive into the astrology, let me share a couple of announcements and things that I wanted to share with you guys. First of all, please subscribe. hit the notification bell so you get notified of when I go live and when I upload videos. And then also make sure that you download my free moon astrology guide, which will tell you what your psychic gifts are based off of your moon sign. And then enters you into my email list. And on Wednesdays, I send out a moon magic report, which is basically the horoscope for the week. I also let you know what events are coming up. We have a global community. Please join the global community. And speaking of free events, we have a free event coming up in January. That is the free mini moon goddess training. And this program is to introduce the moon goddess training and give you an experience of what the training is about by introducing you to level 1, level 2, and level 3. So this starts on January 12th. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you check this out. The Moon Goddess training is my most comprehensive program. It is actually a mystery school. It's a 3-part series with the end goal of becoming certified as an Akashic Records reader. In level 1, we learn the fundamentals. In level 2, we dive deeper. And then in level 3, you actually become certified to read the Akashic Records. But the way that I teach the Akashic Records is very unique. And the reason is because I tie into everything, the learning about what the Akashic Records are and how they work to the ancient mystery schools, Hermetic mystery schools of ancient Atlantis. And so what we do, which I can show you here in level 1, is we go through the temple initiations. We do journeys through each of the temples along the Nile. Each one corresponds to a specific chakra. And in each temple, we learned something different. And so overall, we understand what were the deeper workings of the theme of that temple. For example, the Temple of Isis is all about the mother, the great mother that birthed us. It has to do with the sacral chakra. So we work with that energy. And then we learned other important things about what it means to embody this energy. There is so much. This program is like literally jam-packed, but we're going to be initiated into the ancient mystery schools. You're going to learn how intuition works, how to access it, how to find your psychic gifts. We're going to do astrology, gene keys, human design, learn how to empower ourselves. We're going to do the moon centers as well. You're going to learn all about the moon, the phases of the moon, how to work with the moon phases to manifest, and the transiting moon to access the magical and multidimensional portals, the stargates, ritual, ceremony. We do a 40-day meditation basically for each of the levels. We dive into the Akashic Records and go through the journeys of the ancient temples. We learn sacred geometry, the laws of the universe, Hermetic alchemy, the 9 dimensions, how they relate to our bodies, our chakras, our astrology. And we're talking like the Temple of Abu Simbel, the Temple of Isis, the Temple of Kom Ombo, the Temple of Horus, the Temple of Karnak, the Temple of Dendera, the Osirian Temple, the Temple of Dashur and Saqqara, and the Pyramid of Giza. And each one of those goes up the body through the chakras. So the experience is just like, it's full on powerful, magical. And in this class, in this program, we go through all of it. So it's like a comprehensive experience. You get to dive into your true self. You get to learn who you truly are and step into your purpose. And this is what I really recommend we all need to be doing for the Aquarian age. So check out the free mini training that's going to be coming up in January. Sign up for it now. Put the events RSVP, put the events in your calendar so you don't forget, so you don't miss them. And yes, I can't freaking wait for that. The other thing I was mentioning earlier about my book, Seasons and Stargates, and this year's book is available for purchase. But what's so cool about my holiday package that I'm having right now is it includes a 30-minute reading and a copy of Seasons and Stargates. And this book covers all of the astrology of the entire year. It goes season by season, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, so on and so forth. It talks about the equinoxes, the solstices, the full moons, the new moons, the cross quarter festivals. We also look at the chakra, the system of the body, the shadow that we work to transmute. For every new and full moon, we go into the gene keys and the human design, and I cover those here. And we're going to actually go right into my book so we can start to talk about the full moon in Gemini. But check it out. 30-minute reading, which includes my book, is available for $108, which is a super deal. Okay, so let's jump on over to my book and talk about this full moon in Gemini. And yes, Deborah, welcome in. She made it to a live. Oh, I'm so glad that you are here. Ashley says, I know I sound like a broken record, but it's an amazing self-investment. And that is so true. The Moon Goddess training. And Ashley's going to be mentoring with me this coming year. And she's going to be hanging out with us in the Moon Goddess training, doing personal readings with you guys and including me as well. It's going to be so freaking cool this year because this is something that we're adding that we've never had before. The personalized readings. So, oh my God, I can't freaking wait. And Ashley has graduated from Moon Goddess training. So she is certified and will be kind of giving you an experience of what it's like to be somebody who has completed the program. So this weekend, we have a full moon in Gemini. Now, we've had quite a bit of astrology happening this last week. For example, Mars has now gone retrograde. We are under the influence currently of a Venus opposition to Mars. It is heavy. It is intense. It can feel very uncomfortable. We have also Pluto in Aquarius, kind of holding this, ushering us into this new energy. We're starting to feel it more intensely, and we're just barely getting used to it. And it is a lot, and it is a big deal. And this week, the moon is waxing. We also have Mercury retrograde. We have a lot of planets retrograde, but the moon this week is waxing gibbous, which means emotionally, on top of all of the other transits and aspects that are going on, the emotions are going to be heightened. And so it's normal to feel that as we're moving towards that energy of the full moon. But this full moon is happening on December 15th at 2024. In 2024 at 23 degrees and 52 minutes of Gemini. And what we know about Gemini is that it's ruled by Mercury, has to do with communication, expression. Gemini is also an air sign, which means we can also be in our heads a lot during any significant Gemini transits. It's mutable air, so it's kind of all over the place too, kind of like a circus in your mind. And this energy brings up a door to actually speak our truth. It opens up a door where we get to communicate, share our voice. And this moon is going to be very close to Jupiter, who is in Gemini. So the energy is 100% going to be magnified. So in general, a full moon will heighten our emotions. It is the culminating, the completion, the celebration phase of the moon. We've reached this point with the moon cycle where, 2 weeks ago, or a little bit over a week ago, when we had the new moon in Sagittarius, we initiated something. There was a process that began. There was seeds that we planted that now reach their full fruition during this full moon. So think about in your life what was going on for you when we were having that new moon in Sagittarius. Now we're full on in Sagittarius season, which means that the sun is in Ophiuchus, and Ophiuchus is the 13th sign, the hidden sign, and this is one of the stargates that this full moon activates. On the other side of the spectrum, the moon in Gemini is activating the Orion stargates, which connect us to the Akashic records of the universe, higher knowledge, also ancient Atlantis, ancient Egypt, specifically the pyramids, and connecting to our own personal hero's journey. So Sagittarius season is a place where we are, we finished Scorpio season, and Scorpio season is usually heavy. It's intense. You have to do a lot of like dramatic letting go and releasing of what does not serve you. And essentially, when the sun enters Sagittarius, this is the rising of the phoenix, and feeling renewed and revived, or having this rebirth opens us up to feel the expansiveness of the universe. This is a season that is ruled by Jupiter, so it is really cool that Jupiter is in Gemini for this full moon. And it definitely brings in growth, deep growth. And already, because, we've got Jupiter retrograde, we're already going through intense growth. Hello, Mama O, welcome in with this planet. So there's a lot of like inner reflection going on. There's a lot of like deep lessons, karmic lessons, just in general during this time. Also, in general, Gemini rules the respiratory system, and so it has to do with the breath of life and life force energy coming into your body. And if you're not breathing, then that life force energy is not coming into your body. And I know we all know how to breathe, but the truth is that we don't truly know how to breathe until you learn like the yogic breath and expanding your breath. I mean, there's so many practices that there's like infinite amounts and types of breath work that we can do for ourselves that have certain effects on our body, on our mind and spirit. And this is what this energy is all about. So the deeper the breath, the deeper you receive that life force energy, and the easier it is to communicate and speak. And I'll give you an example. Hello, Bernadine, welcome in. It's an example of like singing, right? So when I was young, I used to take singing lessons. And one of the things that you would do was like breath work. And any kind of meditation with breath work is really great if you need to like give a speech, if you need to do a show, sing, speak, anything, because it'll open up the vocal cords for you to be able to speak more easily, and for the breath to flow better. And so you sound better, you sound stronger, you sound more relaxed. And this is the connection to the respiratory system here. So it is important to take care of our breath and to listen to the breath when you have any kind of intense Gemini transits. Now, the chakra that this full moon in Gemini activates is the knees chakra, which has to do with being flexible. If you think about what do the knees do, they bend, so they make us flexible. They also are connected to our ancestry, this Gemini energy. And this is about understanding and knowing where we come from. Because when we know where we come from, we know, like, for example, what makes us who we are. And understanding that, we learn also, okay, if this is the ancestry that I came from, that I am a part of, this is also the karmic lessons that I'm here to heal and learn. And whenever you work on anything in your life personally, you are healing not just yourself, not only for the future, but you're healing in the past and in the future. So the past generations and the future generations. And this is why it's so beautiful to do this type of any kind of karmic healing. And right now there's a heaviness. There's a definite heaviness in the atmosphere, especially that Mars retrograde this is not like fun times. This is heavy and it's slow and it's reflective and it's like, oh my God. And we're in it for the long haul. And I've been talking about that for a while, but the Mars retrograde doesn't stop. Hello, Kuhn, welcome in. It doesn't stop until February. It goes direct towards, I think, the end of February, and then it has to go retrace all the steps through Cancer, because it's going to go back into Cancer quite a bit until 17 degrees. So it's got to retrace all that Cancer energy, and then it barely enters Leo again next May. So it's crazy. The reading for the holiday reading does not come with the new book. It comes with the current book, which is the annual astrology guide for 2024 and 2025, because we are still in that book, in the astrology of that book until March of next year. So it's the current book, this one that we're looking at right now on the screen. But anyways, so this is some of the important themes of this full moon, and let us look at the astrology chart so that we can get a visual. I love looking at the chart because it gives us an opportunity to really kind of see where the planets are. Now, the first thing that I notice when I'm looking at this chart, the first thing that calls my attention is the fact that the planets are pretty spread out around the wheel. That means that usually there's more elements being represented. So we have fire and air, very strong, and we have water and earth. So basically earth, air, fire, and water. So all of the elements are represented here in this chart. And that means that just in general right now, everything is being has a spokesperson. There's nothing missing of the elements, right? We don't have anything in Scorpio, we don't have anything in Virgo, we don't have anything in Cancer or Capricorn, but we do have some things in each of the elements. So just think about that as bringing a little bit more balance. So to know that there's a full moon happening, you have to see where's the moon and where's the sun. They're making an opposition to each other on a full moon. So you've got moon over here at 23, sun down here at 23. This moon is not conjunct Jupiter, but it's close to Jupiter, which means that the influence is strong there. Jupiter is retrograde, Uranus is retrograde, Chiron is retrograde, Mercury is retrograde, and Mars is retrograde. That's a lot. It's like retrograde city is what we call it. So there's a lot. The energy is deep reflection. And retrogrades, the way that they work is pre-shadow shows up brings up the karma. The retrograde gives us time to reflect on the lesson. And then the post-shadow is where we fix it, or we realign it, or we clear it, and we reset ourselves. So right now we're doing a lot of that deep reflection. When you look at a moon, a full moon or a new moon, you need to look at which planet is the ruler of the moon. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is actually retrograde during this full moon, but he is actually going to go direct. So he gives us one last sort of reflective moment that is magnified, like majorly magnified by Jupiter and the moon and the full moon. And then he goes, okay, now we can release the retrograde. Now we can reset ourselves. Now we can begin, communicating, expressing ourselves more clearly. We're not like tongue-tied anymore. Plus, this energy is very interesting because Jupiter in Gemini and Mercury in Sagittarius are in mutual reception. They are in each other's ruling signs. So they're also doing this kind of intense inner cycle of communicating. I feel like this is telepathic communication when it's mutual reception. It's like, I have information you need and you have information I need. So let's actually work together. I feel like mutual reception planets work together. So Jupiter is the, expander of everything. He has to do with growth. Right now we're doing internal growth, not external growth. And we're also doing a lot of inner mental reflection with Mercury retrograde. But this will go direct. So we're going to feel the release right after the culmination of the full moon happens. So those things are important to note during this time. So then we have to look at what other things are happening during this full moon that are significant. Like what other planets are making oppositions or sextiles or trines. And then we have one kind of difficult aspect, and it does involve Jupiter. it is squaring Saturn. So Saturn is the ruler of time and karma. And when we deal with any kind of Saturn transit, especially if it's a square, the squares challenge us. And Jupiter is retrograde, which means it's probably not feeling its strongest right now. It's kind of, hello Alejandra, welcome in. It kind of feels like he's being attacked, honestly. By that maybe is the perception of like, hey, Saturn is like is not stronger. Saturn in Pisces is not like the happiest, but he's stronger just based off the fact that he's direct and Jupiter is retrograde. So it's kind of like, we're being kind of like confronted, or, confronted is a good word, by Saturn, who challenges us to grow. And so these are challenges on our path of growth. So it's not easy. It's difficult. It can feel uncomfortable. Conflicts can show up. We're being pushed to take action. So he's like, you have to take responsibility. He's making it serious when it's like, maybe we don't want it to be serious, but we don't really have a choice. So that makes this moon a little bit challenging. That's one of the challenging aspects. This moon is making a positive aspect, or at least the sun is making a positive aspect to Chiron, making a trine, bringing in a harmonious flow. Like I would say a trine would be like a gentle river, and a square would be like rapids. We're like, oh, time for action. Like, get your little, paddle, and like you don't even have time to think, But the lazy river is easy flow. It's calm. It's like it's gentle. So gently inviting us to heal in a very beautiful way. The other aspect that is happening right now into tomorrow is the opposition between Mars and Venus. And of course, that's still there, and it's still within degree orb of an opposition to Pluto. That's not fun. That can bring in aggression. That can bring in feeling like we're at odds within ourselves, power struggles, like just volatile energy, like getting agitated really quickly would be Mars opposition to Pluto. And like, I feel it within myself. It's like, we just have to be aware of when these deep, intense emotions show up. And then we have to be like willing to work through, because it's almost like you're easily triggered. Like you go from zero to like triggered really fast. There's no patience, during this kind of energy. So it's not fun. And then Venus represents what we truly desire, and Mars is how we get what we desire. So there's this battle right now going on, because oppositions are battles. It's like the battle of the gods, literally. If the planets represent the gods, then this is a battle of the gods. So we have Mars teaching us a deep, deep lesson about our ego. Mars retrograde is like an ego death, and it is going to go into Cancer. So the theme will change and transform, but it's still right now the ego death. But it's like so important, because when the ego dies, or when the ego surrenders is a better way to say that. I mean, the ego will never surrender fully, but in those moments where it does have glimpses of surrender, it gets out of the way. And what is allowed to come through, or what is able to come through, is the heart and the love. And that's the true magic and power of Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun. And the sun is, the strongest energy, and it represents the heart and the soul. So this is about learning what we truly love. And then when it goes back into Cancer, it's about learning how to truly nurture ourselves and how to truly love ourselves and take care of ourselves. So these are deep karmic lessons. And then Venus in Aquarius is like, I just made a conjunction to Pluto. I'm in a whole new frequency. Like, I'm in the future. And we're like remembering who we are. I think I said that on the weekly show. we are remembering who we are. We need to remember who we are, like the authentic us, the real us, you know? And that's the lesson. So there's a lot. So obviously there's a lot going on, and this full moon is just kind of highlighting and activating the energy even further. So that is another intense aspect and energy going on during this full moon. One beautiful thing that I will point out is that Pluto is trining the south node, sextiling the north node. And the north node, and he's also sextiling Neptune, because Neptune and the north node are very close. And if we think about this, north node is Mars ruled, south node is Venus ruled right now. So the opposition is getting like, remember the trines are like the soft, gentle, like, this way, please, you know, like, have a seat, you know, would you like some coffee? Like, just relax, you know? And so he's like it's interesting because there's an intensity with the opposition, but then it's being like channeled gently towards like healing past life lessons, karma, and then stepping into the future, and then trusting that right now our intuition can be very, very heightened, like deeply heightened. And we need to remember to focus and listen to that intuition and let it guide us forward, like towards destiny. So that is, I would say, a positive thing that is happening here. There is a beautiful, here's another gentle energy. There's a beautiful grand trine in fire also. So basically, Mars is within orb making a trine to the north node, and then also a trine to Mercury. Grand trine in fire will activate passion and creativity. But because Mercury and Mars are retrograde, you'll feel this more as an internal reflection. It'll be internally that you'll feel that creativity, but that's good because it's like important to feel good there and to allow that creativity to flow. There's an interesting quincunx here from Uranus to the sun, which Uranus brings in the unpredictable, brings in the wild energy, brings in the revolutionary energy. And quincunxes are called, the yods that they make are called the fingers of God, but quincunxes are also not like squares, but they are definitely fate. It's fated. It's like you have to like deal with this. It's not an easy aspect. So we may be experiencing things that are unexpected that we have to heal and resolve. And let's see, one more thing. I just want to see if there's anything else that is important for us to look at. I think that's pretty much it. I'll say one last thing. So within orb, the sun and Neptune are making a square, and that can feel confusing. Anytime I see a square to Neptune with any planet, it can like the fog. It's like, think of you're in the ocean on a ship, and then the fog rolls in, and you're like, ooh, and so you have to like turn off the engine and just gently coast. Like, you know, you can't go full speed ahead on the Titanic because you know what happens, right? Like, that's the kind of thing. And so it's like, whoa, wait till the fog clears if you feel unclear about everything that is going on for you right now. So that can also be interesting because this also means that this square is actually also squaring. It's basically a T-square to the moon. So there is an aspect of this moon that can feel like an illusion, or we're being deceived, or we don't, like, be careful, because you might think, oh, this is it. And then all of a sudden it's like the fog clears and the Titanic hits the iceberg. You know what I mean? So trust, intuition is strong and trust it, but at the same time, don't be deceived by things, and especially I would say this is more of a collective energy, by the collective energies that are like deceiving and guiding humanity as a whole in the totally wrong direction. And a lot of the things about Neptune have to do with like the media, what we see on TV. It's like television, the media, movies, things like that. Like they're just advertising, things like that. It's like, be aware of what is out there and the frequencies that are coming off of anything in general, because you are receiving them. If you expose yourself to them, you're receiving those energies, and they may steer you in the wrong direction, like the sirens, right? That come on the ocean, and you have to like do your best not to like fall in love with the sirens because they're going to kill you. You know what I mean? So that's a very interesting kind of a twist, I guess you could say, to this energy. And this, so let's see what I wrote here in general with this. We absolutely have to speak our truth during this time. The more we can allow our higher self to channel through, the better. Because Mercury, the ruler of this moon, is retrograde in Sagittarius, we may experience this energy in an internal way as self-reflection. We may also receive downloads or insights about what was initiated with the new moon in Sagittarius that we just had 2 weeks ago. We may also feel confused at this time or unclear as to how we truly feel. We need to wait for the clarity to come back before making any important decisions. Okay, so that's what I was just talking about with the energy of Neptune. So it's a fun Gemini energy, but then there's kind of some heavy hitting transits that might make it not the usual fun, like happy-go-lucky Gemini energy, especially with its ruling planet retrograde. So we're going to talk about the gene key now, and the gene key that this moon activates is the 12th gene key. And let me transfer back to here so I can read to you from the book. So when we're looking at like the gene key or energy, you're also looking at the same human design gate. So in this case, it is the 12th gene key and the 12th gate. And the description in the Gene Keys book is a pure heart. And I feel like already I'm like, okay, I'm listening. This gene key moves from the shadow of vanity to the gift of discrimination and to the city of purity. So we're going to read about what is purity. And one of the things that I want to talk about is there is a powerful, cleansing that's currently going on right now. So here is what the 12th city represents. And I am reading from the Gene Keys book by Richard Rudd. This is where this is coming from. I highly recommend you have this book and use it. All right. The descriptive phrase, swallowed by the void. The human yearning for true love is in reality a lower frequency of a permanent state existing at a higher level of consciousness. This state, called many names by many cultures, is essentially your pure nature, untarnished by human desire and beyond the dualistic mechanism of the mind. Only the higher mind, which is another expression of your heart, can begin to understand true purity, the 12th city. Vanity and purity are mirrors at two ends of the spectrum of human consciousness. With vanity, your lower self falls in love with itself. But with purity, the higher self falls in love with itself. You might say that purity is when the divine falls in love with you. This can only happen when you come within the sphere of divine love. Your behavior, your thoughts, your feelings, the very air you breathe must resonate to one purpose, what the Sufis call falling in love with the beloved. The beloved is not something out there. It is the essence of your true nature. And you do fall into it because it resides deep within you. Vanity, as we have seen, pursues you right to the end of your journey, even when you are living from a higher frequency of your gift. Vanity is still there. Only when you have attained the highest peak of consciousness does the mystical event occur. You give up everything you have attained. You have to court annihilation. This is the final of the three great trials. In the ring of trials, an opening from above and below then occurs simultaneously, and you enter the hallowed sanctuary of the innermost of the codon rings, the ring of secrets. But for this miracle to occur, your vessel must be absolutely pure and flawless. Purity is a much misunderstood term. In human language, it can be applied as an adjective to almost anything, but at its highest frequency, it can only be applied to one word, the heart. When your heart finally remembers its own original purity, only then will you finally and willingly give up your existence. Everything in the universe has at its core the same original purity. We are all shards of a divine crystal, and as our forms go through their processes of polishing, so consciousness begins to remember itself through us. Even the most evil of beings has at its core a shining, pure heart, which means that in truth, there is no evil. There are only progressive levels of density. This is the great secret you come to embody here in the Ring of Secrets. In the ancient alchemical systems, the throat center was seen as the greatest of all initiations. In the Indian chakra system, the throat chakra, known as Vishuddha, is the clearing house for the higher consciousness. All the lower chakras, including the heart, are synthesized and purified in the throat. In this respect, it represents the boundary of the known and the unknown. Likewise, in the Jewish Kabbalah, the throat is symbolized by an invisible sphere known as the Dath, the abyss. The abyss must be crossed in order for higher consciousness to dawn, and the crossing of death is a symbolic letting go of all your hard-earned knowledge. It is the ultimate purification in which you meet your own death and are reborn in a higher sphere. The being who has passed through this abyss and entered the sphere of the 12th city becomes once again like a child. Through their heart, they can perceive the divine, beyond longing, beyond concepts, yet still deeply human, and with a voice beyond words. Others feel such people truly do not belong in this world, even though they are the most natural expression of what it means to be human. In this state, nothing can contaminate their purity. Their bodies can be decrepit, even ugly, but their hearts can do nothing but sing out with the truth of their true nature. Those who manifest this city often live the humblest of lives, unseen by the world at large. They often pass quietly through the world, living simply, yet reminding everyone who meets them that purity really can exist in a human form. If you wish to play with the frequency of the 12th city, you need only keep reminding yourself of your own heart. Beneath the layers of karma, ancestral fear, and inevitable childhood conditioning beats an aspect of the great universal heart, and its purity can be remembered. Its color is the white beyond white, for it is the eternal child within you. It is the you that you cannot help but fall in love with. To look at the world from the 12th city is to see everyone through the crystalline vessel. It is all you can see in everyone you meet. However, the very moment you view anything in a negative way, this presence within you will instantly vanish. In language, purity becomes poetry. In thought, purity becomes essence. When we combine the language of thought and when we combine language and thought, we have the master codes for ascending beyond the mental plane. The actual words of each of the 64 cities are not really words in their normal sense. They are doorways to realms of higher frequency. The word purity has an essence that is onomatopoeic at a level of vibration. In other words, if you sound the word purity within your heart and mind over and over, you will actually feel its quality residing within your own heart. This is not about affirmation. You cannot simply do a technique and feel it. You have to be ready in your own heart. You have to love the word and all it stands for in order to feel this miracle. Words used poetically and vibrated within the chambers of the heart have the power to pierce through the layers of fear that envelop the hearts of others. Purified thought has an even more powerful effect. Spoken language uses sound, which restricts its impact to our solar system. Sound waves eventually dissipate, but language, cloaked in thought, travels at an almost inconceivable speed and literally rebounds off the walls of the universe. Only pure love can rupture the walls of the universe. Therefore, a pure thought will affect all levels of creation and all beings within creation almost instantaneously. A pure thought is like a sugar lump dropped in a teacup. Within a very short time, it permeates everything. At a certain level, purity of thinking will take you to the edge of hyperspace. The more you allow your thoughts to be imbued with the essence of divinity, the more your whole being reaches a kind of escape velocity. At a certain level of frequency, you simply dissolve into the great teacup. You transcend the mind by becoming one with mind. The paradox here is that in becoming mind, mind ceases to exist. This is the true symbolism of the genetic stop codon. It brings an end to your own individual existence, revealing vanity for what it truly is. The illusion that you are separate. You are so pure that it is not possible for you to exist as anything other than existence itself. In crossing the great cosmic throat center, you are swallowed by life itself. Wow. A pure heart. Okay. So pure, this is so cool because it resonates so much with what I was talking about with the Mars energy, Mars retrograde in Leo. This energy in Gemini, but it's like Orion, and the duality between Orion and Ophiuchus is like that mystery, the occult, the hidden, and there's a lot of like hidden secrets, within these gene keys and these cities. And this is the secret of this energy. This full moon is helping us tap into that beautiful, like hermetic mystery of true purity, which really basically just reminds us that we can be nothing but pure, as we just read in the book. So a pure heart is more than just a heart. It's like a pure heart, a pure mind, a pure vessel, a pure, like just pure existence. So I like that because that means that this full moon is also inviting us to be more present and just flow, like with everything that we are, with how we like function in the world, with our gifts, with everything that we are. So it's about letting go of the illusion that we are separate. Well, that's pretty powerful. So yes, definitely not an easy energy. As we saw when we were looking at the chart, there's a lot of crazy difficult aspects, but ultimately the true gift of this energy, the reminder of this. And if we go back to, if I just look real quick at the last moon was on the 9th gene key, which was transmuting the shadow of inertia and finding more determination. So it was like 2 weeks ago, we were being asked to like stop sitting and doing nothing, and actually find the determination within us to like make a move. And now we're being asked to, as we're like in this space of determination, now that that seed has full on flourished, now we're being reminded of the purity of our our essence, the purity of our vessel, the purity of like our mind. Like, find purity in every aspect of who you are, and like naturally you'll flow into life, and things will just happen as they're supposed to. It's like the harmony that you just surrender into. So I love that. That was really, really cool. I think this moon is really unique. And I can't wait to see how we all experience the energy in our own lives. So thank you guys all so much for being here tonight. And I will be back on Friday. We're going to talk about the human design gate, the 12th gate, and what that means in the language of human design, to add more information to what this moon is and how it is going to affect us. So have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you all again very soon. Sat Nam.